name is Ashley Losh, and I'm going to be talking to you about the HPV vaccine. According to the American Cancer Society, 12,170 new cases of cervical cancer are diagnosed each year. And each year, roughly 4,220 women die from cervical cancer. What if there was a way to prevent cervical cancer? With a vaccine, more commonly known as the HPV vaccine, or also Gardasil, this is possible. So what is HPV? HPV is also known as human papillomavirus. It is the most common sexually transmitted infection in the United States, and there are more than 40 different types that can affect the male and female genitalia. But not only can it affect that, it can also affect your mouth and throat. HPV is scarier than most STIs because most of the time when someone has it, there's no symptoms until it's too late. And you can also have symptoms and not even realize you're passing it on to your sexual partner. So let's take a look at the signs of HPV. In 90% of the cases, the immune system actually clears the virus before you even know you have it, within 2 years. The symptoms of HPV can be genital warts, but these warts can also develop in the throat, like I had previously said. And cervical cancer is also a major contributor to HPV. If you're tested for the virus and it shows positive that you have HPV, there's no way of testing to see if your virus will cause you to get cancer or something else. So the warts and the cervical cancer, they're symptoms of the virus, but you can have the HPV virus your whole life and never have any symptoms and be fine with it also. Cervical cancer usually doesn't show symptoms until it's quite advanced and more serious. And the only way to test to see if you have that screening is males can't get a test done, but females getting a yearly pap smear is very effective. And depending on how those results come back, that's how you're tested to see if you have cervical cancer and if you have the HPV virus that caused it. HPV is passed from person to person during sexual intercourse, and this disease can also be passed on between two people, even if the infected partner doesn't show signs of having any symptoms. If a person had sex with someone, say about 10 years ago, and then they continue to have sex with someone else and never showed any symptoms, they can still pass that disease on. And that's what makes HPV so scary, is because you don't know if you have the disease and you're transmitting it to your partner. According to the CDC, approximately 20 million Americans are currently infected with HPV, and 6 million become infected every year. HPV is so common that 50% of men or women get it at some point in their lives. So how can you prevent HPV? HPV can obviously be prevented by just engaging in protection when having sexual intercourse, the common things we're taught in middle school. But you can also get the HPV vaccine. And the HPV vaccine protects you from some of the most common strands that cause the disease, like genital warts and cancer. You are given the vaccine in 3 different shots over a course of a few months, and it's important to get all 3 of the shots in order for it to be effective. The vaccine is most effective when given to girls the age of 11 or 12, and there are also 2 vaccines that are available, Gardasil and Cervarix. Gardasil is the most commonly used one and that you hear most about it. But you're also able to get the vaccine for ages 13 to 26 as a female. But it's recommended that you receive the vaccine before you engage in sexual intercourse. Because say you go to the gynecologist and they say that you have the strand of the the strand of the virus, you can't then get the vaccine and it will protect you. You have to have it in order for it to protect you. Gardasil also, Cervarix doesn't protect you from genital warts, but Gardasil does. So it protects you from 2 strands, which cause 70% of the cervical cancers, and 2 strands that cause 90% of genital wart cases. The vaccine does not treat the disease. And are males able to get the vaccine? This has actually recently started to come up, and they are able to get the vaccine, and it's the same standards as the females for recommended age 11 and 12, but you can also receive it for 13 to 26. Like I said, there's no way to test if the males have the vaccine. So that's what makes it really scary too for males, because you can be passing it on and really never know, because there's no way to test it. But you can also get cancer and genital warts as well, so that way you would know. But unlike females, there isn't a way to tell. And according to the CDC, the cost of the vaccine is approximately $130 per dose, so it would add up to about $390 for the full vaccine. Most health insurance plans actually cover it, but if you're looking into getting it and you're not sure how to go about that, you can contact Vaccines for Children. It's a program that might be able to help, or if you're looking for a loved one to help out. Although the vaccine's relatively new, they still have studied it, and thousands of people in countries around the world were given the vaccine, and there was no serious safety concerns that came about. There were some, of course, but nothing detrimental that set back the doses of the vaccines or set back giving it to other people. And the most common side effects were pain where the shot was given, fever, dizziness, and nausea, which are typically seen in all vaccine cases. And as of June of 2012, 46 million vaccines were given in the United States, and the most common is Gardasil. So is this vaccine working? During the clinical trials, 93% of the time the vaccine prevented cervical cancer due to the strands 16 and 18. And 99% of these females developed an HPV 16 and 18 antibody response 1 month after completing the 3-dose series. So it's suggested to be long-lasting, but as of this time, it's only up to a 6-year follow-up, so it hasn't been around long enough to show anything further than that. Even if you don't recommend the HPV vaccine to your loved ones, I hope you've learned something about HPV and how serious it is, because I think that many students and many people our age, until I started to look into it, I wasn't aware of how serious HPV is and how it can be spread. So if you don't get the vaccine, that's fine, but make sure you're protecting yourself and you're talking with your sexual partners and being honest and engaging in safe and sexual intercourse. And now I have a Gardasil commercial to show you guys.
I chose to get vaccinated because I'll do everything I can to help protect myself from cervical cancer.
I chose to get vaccinated when my doctor told me HPV can affect women my age and how Gardasil can help protect me.
Gardasil is the only cervical cancer vaccine that helps protect against 4 types of HPV. 2 types that cause 70% of cervical cancer and 2 more types that cause other HPV diseases.
I chose to get vaccinated after my doctor told me cervical cancer isn't the only HPV disease Gardasil helps prevent.
Gardasil does not treat cervical cancer or other HPV diseases.
Side effects include pain, swelling, itching and redness at the injection site, fever, nausea, dizziness, vomiting, and fainting.
Gardasil is not for women who are pregnant.
Gardasil may not fully protect everyone and does not prevent all kinds of cervical cancer.
So it's important to continue routine cervical cancer screenings.
I chose to get vaccinated because my dreams don't include cervical cancer.
Gardasil.
Gardasil. Gardasil.
You have the power to choose.